Hi everybody, I'm Ellie, and today we're going to talk about food journaling, why you'd even want to do that, and what that might look like for you. So as far as why we food journal, there's a lot of great reasons. My favorite is just awareness. We tend to not really think about what we eat, how often we eat, how much we're eating, and that can lead to a lot of issues, not just overweight and obesity, but a lot of other health issues too. So keeping track of what you're eating on a day-to-day basis really makes you aware of what you're putting into your body and can be really helpful with making small changes to improve that. Along with awareness, you're going to hold yourself more accountable if you have to write down everything that you eat and drink. I know personally, when I'm tracking my food regularly, I'll go reach for some junk in my cupboard and think, I don't want to have to write this down later, and half the time at least I won't eat it simply because I don't want to write that down. Not that we want you to feel bad, but it definitely holds you more accountable than you maybe are without food tracking. So along with that, when you do get to that moment when you're like, you know what, this treat is really worth it right now, you can feel good about it because you know that you maybe planned for it in your day, or you know that tomorrow you're going to come back and you're going to get back on track. So it's really easy to find ways to balance, and food journaling can really help with that. Along with that, if you're tracking what you're eating, you can also track what kind of symptoms you're having, and it can help you identify triggers in food that may affect how you feel physically and emotionally. So a lot of times when I'm tracking food, I'm also tracking throughout the day what kind of symptoms I have. Fatigue, brain fog, GI issues, anything that might be going on. It's really nice because you can look back through and maybe find patterns to what's affecting you, which can help you. It can also help your provider determine what kinds of foods maybe you need to think about cutting out or changing up in your diet. So with food journaling, you also have the chance to take control over what you're eating. A lot of times if your life is stressful, if you have anxiety and other things going on, it can kind of feel like things are out of control, and food can also have a role with that. We can, lead to eating disorders and other things. So if you're tracking what you're eating, it gives you an opportunity to feel like you have control over what you're putting in your body, which can help carry into feeling like you have control in a lot of other parts of your life. So what does food journaling actually look like? You can use an app. MyFitnessPal is probably the most popular one. They have a free or premium version. It can put your calorie content in for you. It's got a huge database of foods. It's a really nice, easy way to track it if you want to use an app on your phone. You can also just write it out in a journal and have that at your desk. I like having things in front of me handwritten. I don't know why, that's how my brain works. If you're the same way, there's nothing wrong with just writing out in a journal. If you don't want to track calories, you don't have to. Sometimes even just seeing what foods are on that list makes a big difference. And so with that, once you have whatever you're going to use to track, you have to actually track your food. We're talking about what you're eating, so the content of your diet, how much of it. If you want to go so far as to measure or weigh out your food, I highly recommend that, just to not overestimate or underestimate how much you're eating. That's a really easy way to figure out areas where you might be overindulging a little bit and not even realize it. When you're tracking, like I said before, you can also put symptoms with that. You can also track your activity level and maybe even see like, oh, on this day I exercised a ton, I definitely ate a lot more food, and see how that affects your body and see what kind of difference that makes. I definitely recommend being really honest with yourself with food tracking, especially if you're the only one who sees it. There's no one judging you, there's no one shaming you. It's just an opportunity to be honest and figure out what works for you and what doesn't. So don't be afraid to do that. And finally, every six weeks, go through and assess. So look at what you're eating, look at how you're feeling with it, look at maybe the environments you're in. Are certain things stressing you out that are causing you to eat differently? It just gives you kind of this thing in front of you that's not just stuck in your head, that you can look at and objectively assess what you're doing and find ways to improve.